The next day we made our way back down to the luxury bunker's entrance. We built the schematic we found sitting next to the golden door right in front. I placed a gold suit around each of the bones and started it up. Sparks and lightning shot out everywhere, and then came the horde. A group of mutants came charging out of the woods not long after turning on the machine. The same event that took place at the base when plating the weapons, so we were ready for it. The machine resembled a grave, a stone grave, a rectangle of stones approximately 7 by 3 feet. Bones wrapped with copper wire were organized around the inside to look like a skeleton. It worked like the ones we used for the weapons, except this was for the armor. I was even able to plate the bone armor. After the morning warm-up, I put the golden armor on and went down to the gate. Timmy was waiting for me there.
There's gotta be a way to open this. A key. Something.
With the armor on, I walked up and placed my hand in the engraving on the gate.
Something's happening. It's working.
This time it opened.
Stay close.
Whatever that machine did to the armor worked. I guess there was no time for questions. He took off running, so I followed.
What is this place? They're not like the others.
He ran down through multiple tunnels and rooms with pools of lava where it poured out from the walls and ceiling. The skinny mutants with the sharp nubs came out in waves of 3 to 5 at a time as we pushed further into whatever madness we were getting into. The temperatures rose as we went the only way we could. Down.
So many bodies.
Of course, no cave here on this island is complete without the hanging crosses and skeletons. The descent felt never-ending. I was pretty sure he was leading me into hell and the Golden Gate was the entrance. Would it even be a surprise at this point? We passed gold-plated skeletons with their last expressions frozen in place, sitting in prayer circles or in the corners of the cave. Most of them with their hands raised like to guard themselves from something above them.
This looks old.
We followed a long river of lava down to what felt like a ground floor where the river turned into a lake on one side.
What happened here?
Mutant screeches pierced through metallic crackling coming from bolts of electricity shooting out from the ore that was all around us, and lava poured from the ceiling. Towards the back of the room, out from the lava, came a much bigger version of these mutants and attacked Timmy.
Oh god.
They struggled some before it tossed them to the back and came for me. There was no running from it. I was ready to die. The cross was setting it on fire, but it didn't really have the same effect like it did on the smaller one, so I pulled out the rifle and started firing. Once it came into arm's reach, it was almost impossible to get a shot off, and I had to switch to the sword. There was a lot of back and forth between the three weapons. It attacked like the others. The back legs were used like a scorpion's tail, and if it was too far away, it would jump at you. It was too fast for me to pull out any explosives. I don't know how long the fight lasted. It felt like hours. I was almost completely exhausted by the end of it. I'm pretty sure adrenaline was the only thing keeping me going. After the fight was over, I checked Timmy and we moved on down the next tunnel. At the end of the passage, through a crack in the wall, was the cube.
It's time.
Kelvin, Virginia, and I followed Timmy into it. Jianyu was apparently tracking us and tried to make a break for the cube before it shut on him. He didn't make it. Timmy had a laptop with a countdown on it. Within the last 10 seconds of the countdown, strange things started happening. He drops the laptop and grabs his head like a massive headache just hit him. 4 greenish-blue apparitions appear behind him, acting the same way. I reached out to help and noticed my hands had a ghostly image of itself trailing behind it. Timmy's arm starts to mutate. I look over to my left and one of the cube walls has opened or disappeared, revealing not another side of the cave, but another world. We were up in the sky.
I've seen this before. I saw it in a dream.
With 2 planets in the background looking down at a city. A golden city. Everything happened so fast and it was dark. Most of the light came from bolts of lightning. Everything down there looked covered in gold. The city covered everything we could see. Ghostly cultists tumbled through the air and mutants popped in and out of existence around us. As it started to shake, the scene on the cube wall faded and everything seemed back to normal. The other side of the cube opened back up into the cave. Jianyu was on the other side, not looking so good.
This was supposed to fix me.
A mass of flesh milled into the cave.
Making me worse.
The only part of him moving was his head dangling from skin attached to the ceiling. We all made our way out of the cave up to the docks, ready to be picked up by Eric. However, Jianyu had other plans. He crashed out of the ground, grabbed one of the helicopters, and smashed it on top of Timmy. He fought back, but that didn't last long. He came rushing towards me, stopped and demanded I tell her what I saw in the cube. Before I had time to react, Timmy grabbed and tossed the blob.
What did you see? What did you see? What was in the cube? What was in the cube?
If only he would have thrown it in the ocean. Timmy got knocked out. I pulled out the rifle and he grabbed the helicopter and wielded it like a bat. The fight started out rough. I wasn't sure how the hell I was supposed to dodge a helicopter. I would get 2 or 3 shots off before getting smacked around by it. When I was able to get some distance, it would just charge forward or jump at me to close the gap. In melee range, I'd switch to the sword to try to block the attacks, but the armor ended up mitigating a lot of it instead. Throughout the fight, it spit out different types of mutants, from some fleshy tube it had attached near what would be its stomach to fight for it. I saw I was doing some damage to it, though it didn't seem to be enough. Eventually the armor wore out and I was left running. I made it up a cliff where it lost track of me. I was able to rest before going back at night to finish the thing off. This time I brought explosives. Even then, I came close to dying. It was like I did no damage to it at all the first time. This time it took 3 C4 bricks, 6 grenades, maybe a couple missed, and as it closed the distance for the last time, I took out the katana and finished it off. It finally stopped moving, and so did I. I passed out from exhaustion and came to the next day to the sound of helicopters. Timmy was up in the front. Virginia and Kelvin were behind me, and not far behind them were a group of mutants running towards us.
Dad! You made it. You're okay. Oh God, they're coming. They're getting closer. We have to leave.
As I went to get into the helicopter, the spherical artifact shot out of my backpack,
Get in.
annihilating all of the mutants and the mercs around them.
What is that?
Then it stopped about 6 feet in the air nearby like it was waiting,
Don't go near it.
with the 5 fragments electromagnetically levitating around it.
Don't touch
5
it.
blue lights shot out from the back of the
Wants
island.
you to stay. Don't listen to it.
After over 6 months, we finally had a way out. I thought I was ready to
Get
leave.
back here.
Then I thought about the cube and the artifact. Timmy thought the cube was going to make him better.
Don't! You're on your own. Good luck.
The cannibals were unaffected by whatever happened outside of the cube, and I want to know why. There's still some details missing from this story. I think I want to stay behind and figure it out. Kelvin and Virginia decided to stay with me. The first thing we did was check out the blue lights. We got up to where the lights were coming from. A hole with a rope that went down to a ramp leading to the bottom where another piece of the artifact was found. Bringing all the pieces close made them magnetize together, completing the object. Now to figure out what it can do.